Alright, today I'm going to go over 3.1, 3.7 study guide. On the top it says, be familiar with the unit circle and how to find trig value. I did not include any of those problems on the study guide because we've been doing unit circle quiz. So make sure you keep reviewing those. Alright, number 1. The figure shows a circle centered at the origin with the angle theta in the standard position. The terminal ray and the angle intersect the circle at point P. The coordinate of P is x comma y. Coordinate of the Q is x comma negative y, which makes sense because they're reflected over the x-axis. Which of the following is true about sine of theta? Okay, so theta is in the first quadrant right here, so we're looking for the sine of theta. Honestly, you don't need to know anything about Q because everything is given about the first quadrant. Alright, let's dissect this triangle a little bit. So there's my x value, there's my y value. And this is going to be radius right here, the radius of the circle, which, you know, it's going to be 7. Also, since it's a right triangle, I can label each side in relation to angle theta. How? X can be adjacent side of theta, right? And y can be the opposite side of theta. R can be the hypotenuse of the theta. What are we looking for again? We are looking for sine of theta. What is sine of theta equal to? SOHCAHTOA. Wouldn't that be opposite over hypotenuse? What's the length of the opposite side over here? Y. What's the length of the hypotenuse side? R. However, you know the radius of the circle is 7. So if that's a 7, wouldn't the R value be 7 as well? So sine of theta is y over 7, which is letter D, because it is the ratio of the vertical displacement of P from the x-axis. I'm talking about this y, the vertical distance from the x-axis to point P, and the origin, between the origin and the P. Origin and the P. So it's the ratio of y over distance between the origin of the P and 0, which is going to be the R. So y over R. Letter D. Okay. Number 2, the axes are a little weird, so keep that in mind. What is a period? So period is the horizontal distance to complete one cycle. So it really depends on how you say one cycle is. For me, just me personally, I'm going to highlight one cycle. So that, for me, that seems to be one cycle. Why? If I were to copy this again on the right side, it seems to repeat. If I were to copy it on the left side, it seems to repeat. Now, what's the distance from here to here then? Let's see. -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Period is 7. Alright, periodic function is very important because that means the same thing repeat every 7 times. So when I'm looking for g of 65, clearly I don't have 65 on the x-axis. Right? However, the fact that same thing repeats 7 times, I can subtract multiples of 7 from 65 and then find out what that is. So 7 times 7 is 49, 7 times 8 is 56. I'm going to subtract 56. Then I got g of 9. Do you have g of 9 given? Yes, you do, which is going to be 2. Mrs. Major, I don't like 56. Can I subtract multiples of 7? 63? Sure, let's see what happened. G of 2. What is g of 2? 2. So it doesn't really matter what you're subtracting. There's no particular way of doing it. So if you struggle with it, please review 3.1. 3.1. Alright, number 3. Determine whether the following statement is true or false from, there's a little typo, it should be just the cosine of x. Alright, I'm telling you, you need to know how to graph sine graph and cosine graph from on your own. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to graph cosine function with you. So we're graphing on x and y axis. I personally like all my corners over here. Okay, and to help us visualize better, I'm also going to draw a unit circle over here. And remember, that's 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 half the pi, and 2 pi. And I'm going to go simultaneously. Okay, how do I find the cosine value on the unit circle? X value of the coordinate. So let's start at 0. When theta is 0, angle, what's the x value? 1. So 0, 1. When theta is pi over 2, what's the x value? 0. 0. We are graphing cosine of x over here, folks. Okay? When theta is a pi, what's cosine of pi? Well, -1. When theta is 3/2 the pi, cosine of 3/2 the pi, x value is going to be 0. And 2 pi x value is going to be 1. So cosine function looks like this. And you can kind of assume it's going to be like this. Yeah? All right. Now that we have what we need, let's look at each one at a time. Letter A. The graph f has y-intercept at y is equal to 1. Y-intercept is a y value and x is equal to 0. Right here. Is that 1? Yes, that's true. Number 2. Absolute minimum. So the lowest value of the this is f of x is equal to cosine of x. The absolute minimum is going to be right here at pi. Pi over 2 is not the minimum, so this is false. Letter C. From 0 to half the pi, is your function increasing or decreasing? It's negative slope, so function is decreasing. That's false. Last but not least, the rate of change. Ooh, we've seen that before. What is that? That is slope. So I'm talking about the slope at 0. Where are you? Oh, no. The slope is 0 at 3/2 the pi. So right here, what would be the slope at this point? Well, it's all positive slope. So it shouldn't be positive slope, something like that. It will not be 0. So this is actually a false. Number 4. Which of the following interval does the sine of x increasing and concave down? Okay, well, I thought I didn't have to do it, but I guess I have to. I'm going to graph f of x is equal to sine of x here. Just like what we did above here with the cosine, we're going to do the sine. Okay, so I'm going to make it a little faster because we just did it. Okay, how do you find the sine value? Y value of the unit circle. Okay, hold on. If you're hand students, remember we did it on a whiteboard, right? Okay, so at 0, when theta is 0, y value 0. When theta is half the pi, y value 1. When theta is pi, y value 0. When theta is 3/2 the pi, y value -1. Theta is 2 pi, y value 0. And I got the following like that. That's your sine function. Where is it increasing and concave down? Let's look at one at a time. 0 to pi. Is it increasing? Yes. Is it concave down? Yes. Decreasing. Beep. Decreasing. Beep. That is increasing. However, it is concave up. So I guess it's just the letter A. If you struggle with graphing sine and cosine, I should have told you this is from 3.5. When did we do sine and cosine function? If you want to look at the notes, it will be, I'm looking it up, 3.4 and 3.5 minutes. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Next, use the graph. When I have any graph that I'm not sure what it is, I always start with the midline, right? So minimum -2, maximum 2. So midline is going to be along the x-axis. I'm just going to mark it. Number 5. What is the best describe between 0 and half the pi? I'm talking about right here, this blue area. Is h increasing or decreasing? H is decreasing, negative slope, and it's the part of set face, concave down, letter D. Next, purple. I'm going to use purple between half the pi to pi right here. Is your function increasing or decreasing? Function is decreasing still. Concave up, which means at increasing rate. This means concave up. Okay, so letter C. Oh, number 7. Oh, I need this. Okay, we're looking at pi to 3/2 the pi. There we go. I'm going to use pink. There we go. The rate of change is, okay, this is interesting. Rate of change is same as a slope, folks. So first, is slope positive or slope negative? Slope is positive. Now, is slope increasing or decreasing? Rate of change increasing is same as concave up. Rate of change decreasing is same as concave down. Concave up, letter A. Alright, now let's do some shifting, shall we? Sinusoid function is over there. We're looking for A and B and D. Oh, there's no shifting. How did I know? Because there's no theta plus C. Easy peasy. Alright, start with the midline. How do I find it? Minimum -4, maximum 2. In between, in the middle, is going to be -1. So always have a habit of drawing your midline, please. There you go. Start with the midline. That was at -1. So D is going to be -1. By the way, if you don't like doing it visually, you can just add the maximum and minimum and divide it by 2. So 2 minus 4 is 2 divided by, 2 minus 4 is -2 divided by 1 is -1. Alright, A is the amplitude, distance from the midline to the maximum. 1, 2, 3. A is going to be 3 or -3. Don't forget about that -3. How do I know what it is? Well, this is a sine function, and there's no shifting, so please put your blue tape, it's not blue, I know, right along the starting point at 0. Start from the midline. So it is a sine, however, it goes up. So A has to be +3. Oh, okay, so A is going to be +3. Now let's look for the B value. B has to do with the period of the function. Let's find the period. I'm going to start at the beginning. Boo, that is a 1 period. So period is P. Pi. And how do you find the period? Oh my word, I'm struggling. Pi. And what's the formula to find the period? 2 pi over B. B pi is 2 pi. B's got to be 2. B is 2. So find the value of constant A and B and C. A is 3. B is 2. D is -1. Okay. Number 9. We're looking for a period and amplitude. So please start with the midline. -1, 3. Middle is 1. That always helps you. So always do that. Period. I'm going to start from the top. Next time I go to top is pi. Oh man, why all the periods? Pi. Amplitude, distance from the midline to the maximum. That is 1, 2, A. Number 10. Ooh, this one is fun one. Okay, start with the midline. All right. You can eliminate it, then eliminate it. Midline is at 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. Doesn't really help me. Amplitude is 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. Doesn't really help me. B value might be helpful to find out. So let's look at the B value. Why? Because the B value is a 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay? All right. So for me, the period looks like a pi. So period is a pi, which is 2 pi over B. B pi is 2 pi. B's got to be 2. 2, 2, 2. Adios. I feel like we did this on the class. All right. Now let's look at one thing at a time. This one, you are shifting half the pi to the right. So you take the blue tape, and you're going to shift it pi over 2 to the right, like this. That's your new starting point now. However, at the starting point, it starts from the midline, which is a sine. That is good. But it goes down. So your A value has to be what? Negative. It says positive. Wrong. Letter C. Half the pi to the right still. So I'm going to stay here. But a sine function start from the midline. Yay. A has to be negative. Okay, maybe. Let's look at D. I'm moving pi to the right. So you're moving pi to the right. So that's your new starting point right here. Start from the midline. Sine going up. A has to be positive. Sine. A has to be positive. Wrong. Okay. All right, I'm going to make another video. I'm going to do the rest.